Back at Charlotte, we watch from Jeff Gordon's point of view. Jimmy Vasser has a comfortable lead. So let's take a look now at our true value mechanics of racing.
In every discipline of motorsports, tire performance plays a crucial role in the overall effectiveness of a race team. Now, in IROC competition, we're talking about tire temperatures. You hear us say, hey, he's heated up his tires, or hey, he has to save his tires. We're talking about tire temperature. Now, how do you measure the tire temperature? With this device called a pyrometer. You actually take a temperature across the face of the tire. Now, Goodyear designs a tire specifically for the racetrack, in this case Charlotte, through construction, compound, and also optimum tire temperature performance. Here at Charlotte, it's 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what are the variables that come into play in terms of developing tire temperature? 1, track temperature. 2, track conditions. 3, chassis setup. And 4, driver style. Now, in IROC, all the chassis are the same, track temperature and track conditions are the same, so it all falls on the shoulders of the drivers. You increase that tire temperature beyond 250, you lose grip. Now, there's another interesting nuance to the Charlotte race. That's the fact that it runs at night. Now, what happens there is the track conditions change. In the heat of the day, petroleum distillates will seep up out of the racetrack and grease it up. At night, they go back into the pavement, so the track conditions are better. The track temperature is lower. That means the chassis setup has to be different, and it also widens the variables where a driver can use in terms of style before he builds up excessive tire temperature.
Well, tire temperatures are going to be critical as we watch Jimmy Vasser and look at the interval back to Mark Martin and his lead. You've got to save that right front tire if you want to make it to the full 100 miles. And remember, there has not been a caution yet in this run. There's DW, Darrell Waltrip, as you look through the entire field now. But back here is where the battle is now developing between Martin and Jeff Gordon.
The second place car has gained another 1/10 of a second on the leader. Mark Martin, the orange car that you see in front, has gained one more 1/10 of a second. And there's still a long ways to go. There's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. 6 cars running nose to tail.
Well, that interval between first and second, between Vasser and Martin, it does not look to me like it's changing all that much. It might be a little further one time and a little closer the next, but overall it seems to be staying about the same.
Alex Zanardi and Terry Labonte. I'm impressed with Zanardi. He has made a great transition. He and Vasser both have made an immediate transition from the open wheel cars to the stock cars.
Well, remember that Zanardi and Vasser are teammates in the PPT Kart World Series, and they are rookies here, as is Randy LaJoie, who now is tucked in behind Gordon. This group has stayed very tight. There's LaJoie, there's Gordon.
LaJoie's the NASCAR Busch Grand National champion, and Labonte slipped, and Zanardi tries to get alongside, and that was close, folks. That's Zanardi, the blue car, Terry Labonte in the yellow car.
Alex Zanardi was not expecting that.
He was not. Labonte slipped as he came off turn 4 just a little bit, which allowed Zanardi to stick that nose up there, and he rooted him right by.
Remember, too, that Zanardi is running a little bit offline at the Daytona race. He had a terrific run, but notice sometimes on the corners, he'll take a higher line, especially on the exits, than almost everyone else.
Zanardi's going in the corners higher, but he's really making it work for him as he comes off the corner. There's our second place car. Through 7th place. Labonte is now 7th.
Now as the laps unwind, the question is, can they make the move? Are the tires working for them at this point, and they've just decided to sit in position and wait out the final laps? I don't think so. At least Zanardi is saying, I'm not doing that, as he bounces off LaJoie and then goes around him.
Wow, he's liking this. He is having more fun probably than he's ever had driving a race car.
Field's average age, 35 and a half years old. Darrell Waltrip is the oldest at 50. Jeff Gordon, the youngest, at 25.
Zanardi's trying to catch his teammate, Jimmy Vasser. He said, if Vasser can do this, I know I can. And look how high he goes in the corner and then brings it right down on the bottom. And it really is working good for him.
Always fun to watch somebody who is primarily a road racer, though you really can't say that about Zanardi now because of his experience in the Indy cars, but all of his background prior to that was as a road racer, and they'll figure out different grooves. They don't always work, but sometimes they find one little thing that will help them.
And it's working for him. Watch again, folks. Zanardi, the blue car, right there on the screen as he goes in the corner, much higher than the other cars. And he's doing the same thing down in 3 and 4.
Well, Jimmy Vasser continues to lead, maintains about the same interval as he has throughout most of the run from Mark Martin. Only 16 times of the 81 IROC runs has the race been won from the pole. The 12 car, Jimmy Vasser, the pole sitter, he is out, trying to run away from the field. Rest of the group closing in. Alex Zanardi, look at him. He was loose last time around at this point on the track, looser yet here.
He hit the wall the last time, but that didn't slow him down. He tried to pass Robbie Gordon going down the backstretch. Couldn't quite make it, got extremely loose. LaJoy in the tan car was able to go by.
Yeah, but Benny, look where he's driving. He's all over the place here, but he's still letting the car stick.
He is running an entire different line than anyone else is running around this racetrack. It seemed to be working for him, but I think when he brushed the wall hard enough, I think he probably has bent the thing up.
At the halfway point, keeping an eye on Alex Zanardi. 34 laps complete, and all of those led by Jimmy Vasser, so he picks up the extra 5 points for leading that many laps. And points, of course, critical in the International Race of Champions to help determine that championship at the end of the 4 races.
There is Jimmy Vasser, the leader of the race, has led every lap, started on the pole. And I tell you, the experience, the testing that he did here this week in these Pontiac Firebirds has worked out so well for him.
So Jimmy Vasser crosses the halfway point in the lead, leading right from the green flag and looking very strong. The practice early in the week has very definitely paid off for him. Now, here is Zanardi a couple laps ago.
Watch this as he comes off the corner. Bam! He bounces off the wall, and that's not insignificant. That's heavy contact with the wall.
And that certainly can explain why that car has been skating for a couple of laps here. But he seems to have it back under control.
Now he does seem to be back under control.
But Alex Zanardi's blue Firebird may have a serious problem now, Jack.
It's fairly evident that Alex Zanardi's car is not performing as well since it hit the wall. Now, probably what happened is he actually might have bent the rear end a little bit. Now, what would that mean? He might have slammed the wall and it would have put the rear end a little bit off kilter. What does that mean now? Well, now the car won't run true. It'll have a little bit of a twist to it, but he's still hanging in there.
You remember, too, that Jack talked about Jimmy Vasser practicing in his car earlier in the week, but that's not his race car. It's a practice car. Mark Martin just ahead.
And, you know, Mark Martin, I said earlier, was gaining on Jimmy Vasser. He has stopped gaining, and right now is actually losing a little ground to Vasser.
In only 14 events of the IROC, as the driver that won led every lap. We looking for number 15 here today? Surprising to me, some of the drivers who really are not moving well, like Earnhardt. You really would expect him to be up to the front early, though they were concerned about the fact they were starting in the back row. Al Unser Jr. and Earnhardt both had indicated that if they were going to do anything, they were going to have to move early. Al has moved some, Earnhardt has not.
No, they both are really struggling. There we see the leader, Vasser. There comes second, Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon is in third spot. Robbie Gordon is in fourth. Randy LaJoy fifth. The sixth place car is Alex Zanardi, and Terry Labonte is seventh.
Still tracking Alex Zanardi after that brush with the wall. He's using a very unusual line, higher than everyone else, but he's making it work, and he's continuing to stay up with the front group. At the same time, Al Unser Jr., Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Tom Kendall, and Darrell Waltrip all are dropping back. And think of the implications that has on the overall points battle for the IROC championship. It's still Jimmy Vasser out in front of Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. More from Charlotte when we come back. One another.
And you keep talking about tires, you think that Zanardi would be abusing the tires the way he's running, but I think that going in the corner, that high line that he's going in, is really easy on the tires.
Just enough to save him by letting it run out there, huh?
Exactly. Watch as he goes in very high, but he turns that thing across the racetrack, comes off on the bottom, and seems to get a nice run down the straightaway by doing that.
I wonder what Labonte's thinking when he sees that. Where are you going? The track's over here to the left.
That time Zanardi ran more of a conventional line through the corner.
Darrell Waltrip, who started here but has fallen well back, runs in 12th place now. 19 years ago, he finished third in IROC 5 points. Benny Parsons, you were 7th that year. Make you feel bad.
Never made that big money, that's right.
Well, and Jeff Gordon was starting in the first grade. Wow.
At Jeff Gordon. Actually, we're riding along with Jeff Gordon as we look back at Robbie Gordon.
And if you look way back there in the corner, past the cream-colored car of Randy LaJoie, you will see the red car of Al Unser Jr. with a lot of hard driving. He's finally caught up to the pack.
There we see Al Unser Jr., and there's Randy LaJoie that we're talking about in that cream car. So, but Al Unser Jr. now in the 8th spot.
So Junior on the move, but time is quickly running out. Jarrett and Kendall battle further back. Jimmy Vasser continues to dominate. Al Unser Jr., as you ride with him in the 81 events of the IROC, 11 of the wins, the most, go to Al Unser Jr., a 2-time champion. We take a look at Jimmy Vasser. Now we'll take a look back and once again look at the interval. It looks like it's closing down.
Well, once again, it does look like it's closing down there. We see these 7 cars that are running basically together in a group. The lead car that you see in the lead of this group is Mark Martin, the 2nd place car.
And nothing's changed there at the front of that group. But Al Unser Jr. adding on to it has made a difference. Kendall and Jarrett continue to battle almost side by side behind Al Unser Jr. There they are.
As they go down in turn 1.
That's Jarrett on the outside, Kendall down to the inside.
And Mark Martin has closed in about 1/10 of a second, but that was 10 laps ago. So we're running out of time. I don't know if Mark Martin has enough time at that rate to close in.
Now the Gordons begin to battle up behind Mark Martin as Kendall and Jarrett break it off, with Kendall taking the advantage.
And that's Robbie Gordon, the rose-colored car, on the inside of Jeff Gordon. This is for 3rd spot.
Robbie Gordon gets down low on Jeff. Come off the corner. You're looking over side by side as they run down the backstretch.
And here comes Zanardi. He says, I want to play with these guys.
Yeah, this looks like fun. Let me get in here. Well, they stay side by side. Look at Zanardi. He hits the wall again. Zanardi dances high, bounces it off the wall, and keeps going. I don't think he lifted.
Surely, and the yellow flag is out.
So the yellow finally comes out. Zanardi had to hit the wall twice to prove to him that he really wanted a yellow.
I'll tell you what, he hit the wall pretty hard that time.
Or else Terry Labonte was saying, what is going on here? So Alex Zanardi, the 2nd incident of a 2-incident race thus far. Both of them have the name Zanardi on them, but he has had a spectacular run trying to catch everybody.
There we see, that's a battle for 3rd spot. Zanardi says, which one am I going to follow? But he got so interested in which one he was going to follow, he forgot to turn. And boom, there's a wall directly in front of him.
The first was a bump. This is a certifiable crash. We'll be back with the green after this.